Welcome back to HealthyCast. If you're loving these deep dives into all things health and wellness, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode.
Yeah.
Today, we're tackling a topic that's near and dear to many.
Yeah.
Scientifically proven ways to boost your testosterone naturally.
It's a hormone that often gets oversimplified, associated mostly with muscle mass or even just the manliness.
Right.
But the reality is testosterone plays a vital role in so many aspects of well-being. Energy levels, mood regulation, even cardiovascular health.
Okay, so let's break this down.
Okay.
You're listening because you want to optimize your T levels naturally.
Right.
But before we jump into solutions, I'm curious, how do you even know if your testosterone might be low?
Yeah.
What are the signs to watch for?
That's such a crucial starting point
Yeah.
because the symptoms can be sneaky.
Mm.
A lot of men just chalk it up to getting older.
Right.
It's not just about libido, though. That can be an indicator. We're talking about things like persistent fatigue, struggling to build muscle even with consistent workouts, or even noticing shifts in your mood,
Okay.
maybe increased irritability or difficulty concentrating.
So it's really about paying attention to those subtle changes in how you feel overall, not just focusing on one specific symptom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that there's a sort of sliding scale of how those symptoms can manifest, depending on how much your testosterone levels have dipped.
Okay.
For example, studies have shown that erectile dysfunction can start to appear when levels fall below 250 nanograms per deciliter.
Wow.
Even those indications of healthy testosterone can decrease in frequency around 320 NGDL.
Wow, that's pretty specific.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that there would be different thresholds for different symptoms.
Right.
And it highlights the importance of getting those levels checked if you have concerns.
Absolutely. And it's not just about total testosterone either.
Right.
We also need to consider bioavailable testosterone, which is the amount that's actually unbound and active in your body.
Okay.
That's influenced by a protein called SHBG,
Okay.
sex hormone binding globulin.
Okay.
We'll dive into that more later because understanding SHBG is key to unlocking how lifestyle changes can really move the needle on your active testosterone levels.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
We've laid the groundwork now. Let's get into the action plan.
Okay.
What are some of the most effective, scientifically proven ways to boost testosterone naturally?
Let's start with the foundation.
Okay.
Exercise.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, you might be surprised to learn it's not all about those marathon cardio sessions.
Really? I thought being super active was always good for hormones.
Well, there's a nuance here.
Okay.
While moderate cardio is beneficial for overall health, prolonged endurance activities can actually increase cortisol, the stress hormone.
Okay.
And cortisol, as we know, can suppress testosterone production.
So it's almost like those intense workouts are working against your testosterone goals.
In a way, yes.
Wow.
What's really powerful for boosting testosterone is resistance training.
Okay.
Think lifting weights, body weight exercises, anything that challenges your muscles.
Got it.
Studies have shown that this type of exercise triggers a temporary surge in testosterone,
Okay.
especially when you work those large muscle groups like your legs and back.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, staying active, but focusing on strength training rather than endless hours of cardio. And I imagine what you fuel your body with plays a role too.
Absolutely. It's not just about how you move, but also what you eat.
Okay.
Imagine the classic Mediterranean diet. Abundant fruits and vegetables, healthy fats like olive oil and avocados, and lean protein sources like fish and poultry.
So we're talking about ditching those processed foods and sugar-laden snacks that we all know aren't doing us any favors.
Exactly. Those types of foods can contribute to inflammation and hormonal imbalances, which can ultimately impact testosterone production.
Right. So we've got exercise and nutrition covered. What else is on the list of natural testosterone boosters?
Now, this one might seem obvious, but it's so crucial.
Okay.
Weight loss.
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about aesthetics here. Research has shown that losing even a moderate amount of weight, say 10% of your body weight, can lead to significant improvements in testosterone levels.
Wait, seriously?
Right.
That much of an impact from just 10%?
For someone who weighs 200 pounds, that's like shedding just 20 pounds.
Wow.
And it can have a noticeable effect on your testosterone production.
Okay.
Some studies have shown even more dramatic results with weight loss in the range of 26 to 46 pounds.
That's pretty remarkable. But how does weight loss actually trigger that change in testosterone?
Yeah.
What's the mechanism there?
There are several factors at play. Excess body fat, especially in the abdominal area, can increase the activity of an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen.
Oh, I see.
So by losing weight, you're essentially reducing the amount of testosterone that gets converted into estrogen, leading to higher levels of circulating testosterone.
Got it.
Additionally, weight loss can improve insulin sensitivity, which can also positively impact testosterone production. And for individuals struggling with obesity, bariatric surgery has been shown to have a dramatic positive impact on testosterone levels.
So it's not just about fitting into your old genes. It's about creating a hormonal environment that's conducive to healthy testosterone production.
Precisely.
Okay.
And that brings us to another critical piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Sleep.
Okay. We all know sleep is important, but how does it actually affect testosterone?
Your body is a fascinating machine, and testosterone production follows a natural rhythm, peaking in the morning. But here's where it gets interesting. Research has shown that even missing an hour or two of sleep consistently can have a cumulative effect on your testosterone levels, like a slow leak in your hormonal tank.
I never realized it was that sensitive.
Yeah.
So are you saying that those late nights are actually chipping away at my testosterone even if I feel okay the next day?
It's not just about feeling tired. It's about the impact on your hormonal balance. When we compare guys who consistently get 8 hours or more of shut-eye to those who only manage 5 hours, the difference in testosterone levels can be a whopping 10 to 15%.
Wow.
And get this, treating sleep apnea, a condition that disrupts sleep, with CPAP machine can improve testosterone levels by an incredible 90 to 100 points.
So hitting the snooze button is practically a form of hormone therapy.
You could say that.
But seriously, that highlights how crucial sleep is for overall hormonal health.
Absolutely. And speaking of things that can disrupt hormonal balance, let's talk about stress.
Ah, yes, the nemesis of modern life.
Right.
We all have it. But is it really that bad for our testosterone?
Unfortunately, chronic stress, think that constant state of go, deadlines looming, traffic jams, all of that, can wreak havoc on your testosterone levels. Remember cortisol, that stress hormone we talked about earlier? Well, when you're chronically stressed, your body pumps out cortisol like there's no tomorrow. And as we know, cortisol can suppress testosterone production.
So it's a double whammy: stress lowers testosterone and increases cortisol, which further lowers testosterone.
It's a vicious cycle. And there's even research to back this up. A study on resident doctors who are notoriously stressed and sleep deprived found that their testosterone levels took a serious hit during the most demanding periods of their training. Their bodies were essentially in a constant state of fight or flight, prioritizing survival over things like hormone production.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it also makes me want to curl up in a ball and hide from all responsibility. So what's the antidote to this stress-induced testosterone sabotage? What can we do to manage stress effectively?
That's a great question, and something we'll dive into more deeply in the next part of our deep dive. But for now, I'll leave you with this thought. Imagine stress management as a toolbox. There are so many tools at your disposal. Sleep exercise, mindfulness practices, spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, even seeking professional support. It's about finding the tools that work best for you and making them a part of your daily routine.
I'm definitely intrigued to unpack that toolbox further.
All right.
But before we move on, there's one more piece of the puzzle I want to touch on. Those sneaky chemicals in our environment that can mess with our hormones.
Yes. Endocrine disruptors. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but they're very real. And they're lurking in everyday products.
This is where I get a little freaked out.
Yeah.
What are these chemicals and where do we find them?
Two of the biggest offenders are BPA, found in many plastics.
And phthalates, often used in things like tubing and soft plastics. These chemicals can mimic hormones in the body. And unfortunately, they can disrupt testosterone production and even sperm health.
Wow.
Think about it. You're diligently following all the advice we've discussed so far. But then you're unknowingly exposing yourself to these hormone-disrupting chemicals. It's like taking one step forward and 2 steps back.
I officially have the heebie-jeebies. So what can we do to protect ourselves? Is it even possible to avoid these chemicals entirely?
While it's impossible to eliminate exposure completely, we can definitely minimize it by making simple swaps in our daily lives.
Like what?
Choose glass or stainless steel water bottles instead of plastic. Heat up leftovers in glass containers instead of plastic. And ditch those plastic Tupperware containers in favor of glass or ceramic.
Okay.
It's all about being mindful of the materials we use and making conscious choices. That's a good reminder that it's not just about what we put in our bodies, but also what we expose our bodies to.
Exactly. And that brings us to the end of part 1 of our deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Recognizing the signs of low testosterone, the powerful impact of exercise and nutrition, the critical role of sleep, the detrimental effects of stress, and the importance of minimizing exposure to endocrine disruptors.
It's been a jam-packed episode, and I'm already feeling more empowered to take control of my testosterone levels.
Good.
But we're not done yet.
Nope.
In part 2, we'll delve deeper into stress management techniques and explore the world of testosterone replacement therapy.
Yeah.
Discussing the different options available, potential benefits and risks, and the importance of working closely with a healthcare provider.
We'll be back soon with more insights and actionable tips to help you optimize your testosterone levels and achieve your health goals. Welcome back to part 2 of our deep dive into testosterone. Before we jump into stress management, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier. The idea of testosterone as this sliding scale of symptoms.
Yes, you were talking about how different levels of testosterone can trigger different issues like erectile dysfunction.
Right.
Or even just those less frequent morning salutes.
Exactly. And this highlights a really important point.
Okay.
It's not just about being, low or normal.
Right.
There's a whole spectrum of testosterone levels, and even small dips can have an impact.
Okay.
It underscores the fact that symptoms aren't just about libido, but can affect many aspects of well-being, like energy, mood, and even cognitive function.
That makes sense. It's not like you suddenly flip a switch and you're deficient.
Right.
It's more like a gradual decline that can manifest in different ways.
Precisely. And this is why it's so crucial to pay attention to those subtle changes in how you feel, rather than just waiting for a major red flag. Because even those smaller dips in testosterone can be addressed proactively with lifestyle changes.
Okay, that's good news.
Yeah.
It means we have some control over this process.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about stress management.
Okay.
In the last part, you left us hanging with the idea of a toolbox of techniques.
Right.
Can we unpack that a bit?
Absolutely. I like the toolbox analogy because it emphasizes that there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Of course.
But the key is to have a variety of tools at your disposal so you can tailor your strategy to your individual needs and preferences.
So what are some of the most effective tools in this stress-busting toolbox?
Well, we've already established that sleep is like the master key that unlocks so many benefits, including hormonal balance. When you're consistently sleep deprived, your body goes into this chronic stress response mode, pumping out cortisol, which, as we know, can suppress testosterone production.
So getting those 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep each night isn't just about feeling rested.
Right.
It's about giving your hormonal system a chance to reset and function optimally.
Exactly. And it's not just the quantity of sleep, but also the quality. Think about creating a relaxing bedtime routine. Making sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool, and avoiding screens for at least an hour before bed. Those blue light emissions from our phones and laptops can really interfere with our natural sleep-wake cycles.
It's amazing how much our modern lifestyles can disrupt something as basic as sleep.
It really is. But luckily, we can regain some control by being mindful of our habits.
Okay.
And speaking of mindfulness, that brings us to another powerful tool in our stress-busting toolbox.
Right.
Mindfulness practices like meditation and deep breathing exercises.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm sometimes skeptical of these woo-woo practices.
Right.
Can you convince me that they actually work?
I understand the skepticism, but there's actually a growing body of scientific evidence to support the benefits of mindfulness for stress management.
Okay.
When you engage in these practices, you're essentially training your brain to focus on the present moment rather than getting caught up in worries about the past or future.
So it's about calming that constant chatter in our minds.
Exactly. And by calming the mind, you're also calming the body's stress response system.
Okay.
Studies have shown that regular meditation can actually lower cortisol levels, which, as we know, can have a positive ripple effect on testosterone production.
That makes sense.
Right.
If we're constantly in that fight or flight mode, our bodies are going to prioritize survival over things like hormone production. It's like telling your body, hey, it's okay to relax. We're not being chased by a saber-toothed tiger.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Even just taking a few minutes each day to focus on your breath. Noticing the sensations of your body can make a big difference.
So it's about incorporating those little moments of mindfulness throughout the day.
Right. Rather than feeling like you have to carve out an hour for a meditation retreat.
Precisely. And there are other tools in the toolbox that can be just as effective.
Okay.
Spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, pursuing hobbies that bring you joy. These activities can help to reduce stress.
Okay.
Boost mood and create a sense of balance in your life.
Right.
And don't underestimate the power of laughter.
Oh, yeah.
Laughter is a natural stress reliever. It releases endorphins, and it can even boost your immune system.
So watching a funny movie or hanging out with friends who make you laugh is practically a prescription for healthy testosterone.
Absolutely.
I like the sound of that.
And if you're feeling overwhelmed by stress, don't be afraid to seek professional help. Talking to a therapist or counselor can provide you with tools and strategies to manage stress effectively.
That's a good reminder that it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
We don't have to go it alone.
Exactly. And speaking of seeking help, that brings us to another topic we wanted to discuss.
Testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT.
Okay.
For some men, lifestyle changes alone might not be enough to address low testosterone. TRT can be a life-changing option for men with clinically low testosterone levels who aren't responding to those natural approaches we've been talking about.
Okay, let's dive into TRT. I know this is a topic that generates a lot of questions and even some controversy.
Yeah.
Can you give us an overview of what TRT actually is and how it works?
Sure. Testosterone replacement therapy, as the name suggests, involves supplementing the body with testosterone to bring those levels back into a healthy range.
Okay.
There are various forms of TRT, each with its pros and cons.
Okay.
You've probably heard of testosterone injections. Those are a common method administered at different intervals.
Right.
Depending on your needs and doctor's recommendations.
We also have transdermal gels that you apply to your skin.
Yeah.
Patches that you wear.
Right.
Even buccal tablets that are absorbed through your gums.
And for those seeking a longer-lasting solution.
There are pellets that are implanted under the skin.
Okay.
The key is to find the method that best suits your lifestyle and preferences.
But it's not as simple as just picking a method and going for it, right?
Right.
There are potential risks and side effects to consider.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why it's so crucial to consult with a healthcare provider who specializes in hormone health. They'll do a thorough evaluation, including blood tests, to determine if you're a good candidate for TRT and to rule out any underlying medical conditions that might be contributing to your low testosterone.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's about finding the right treatment plan for your individual needs and making sure it's safe for you.
Exactly.
And I imagine there's ongoing monitoring involved as well.
You got it. Regular blood tests are essential to monitor your testosterone levels, as well as to check for any potential side effects.
Like what kind of side effects?
Well, some men experience things like acne or oily skin, breast enlargement, hair loss.
Or worsening of sleep apnea.
Wow.
In rare cases, TRT can also contribute to mood changes or even increase the risk of blood clots.
So it's not a decision to take lightly. There are potential downsides to consider, and it's important to be aware of those.
Exactly. And it's also important to understand that TRT can suppress your body's natural testosterone production.
Okay.
This can lead to decreased sperm count and potential fertility issues. So for men who are planning to have children, TRT might not be the best option.
That's a really important point to highlight. And speaking of important points, there are a lot of myths and misconceptions surrounding TRT. I've heard people say it can cause prostate cancer or increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. What's the truth about those claims?
Those are common concerns, but the good news is that recent research has debunked those fears. TRT doesn't actually cause prostate cancer. But if cancer is already present, even at a microscopic level, TRT can accelerate its growth. That's why it's crucial to rule out prostate cancer before starting TRT.
So it's about being proactive and getting those screenings done.
Exactly. And as for the cardiovascular disease link, previous studies had raised some concerns, but more recent research has actually shown that restoring testosterone to normal levels in men with hypogonadism can actually improve cardiovascular health.
That's reassuring to hear. It seems like a lot of those fears are unfounded, but it still emphasizes the importance of working with a knowledgeable healthcare provider who can guide you through this process and address any concerns you might have.
Exactly. And even if you're considering or undergoing TRT, there are still plenty of those lifestyle changes we talked about in the first part that can complement the therapy or even boost your testosterone naturally.
So it's not an either-or situation.
Right.
It's about taking a holistic approach, addressing both the underlying hormonal imbalance and the lifestyle factors that can contribute to it.
Exactly. And that brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive. We've explored the powerful tools of stress management, delved into the world of testosterone replacement therapy, and debunked some common myths surrounding TRT.
It's been another information-packed episode.
Yeah.
But there's still more to come.
There is.
In part 3, we'll look at the role of genetics in testosterone production, explore some exciting advancements on the horizon for testosterone management, and leave you with some final thoughts on how to optimize your T levels and live your healthiest, most vibrant life.
We'll be back soon with the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into all things testosterone. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has.
We've tackled everything from those sneaky symptoms of low T to the power of lifestyle changes, and even delved into the sometimes confusing world of testosterone replacement therapy.
It's amazing how much there is to learn about this one hormone and how it impacts so many aspects of our health and well-being.
I'm with you there, and I feel like we barely scratched the surface. So before we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious to explore a couple more areas. First, I wanted to touch on something we haven't talked about yet, genetics.
Okay.
What role do our genes play in all of this?
That's a great question, and it's a fascinating area of research. While we can't control our genes, understanding how they influence our testosterone levels can be incredibly empowering.
Okay.
Essentially, there are certain genetic variations that can affect the activity of enzymes involved in testosterone synthesis and metabolism.
So are you saying that some guys are just genetically predisposed to having lower testosterone levels than others? Like it's written in their DNA?
In a way, yes.
Okay.
It's not that your genes determine your destiny.
Right.
But they can definitely influence your starting point and how your body responds to different stimuli.
Okay.
For example, some men might naturally have lower levels of the enzyme that converts cholesterol into testosterone, which could lead to lower overall testosterone production.
That makes sense. It's like having a slightly different blueprint for your hormonal system.
Exactly. And while we can't change that blueprint, we can definitely optimize it through lifestyle choices.
Okay.
So even if you're genetically predisposed to lower testosterone, you still have a lot of control over those factors we've discussed. Exercise, nutrition, sleep, stress management, and minimizing exposure to endocrine disruptors.
It's reassuring to know that we're not entirely at the mercy of our genes.
Right.
We have the power to make choices that support our hormonal health.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of advancements, I'm always fascinated by the cutting edge of science. What are some of the exciting developments on the horizon for testosterone management?
It's an exciting time to be in this field, that's for sure. One area that's generating a lot of buzz is the development of selective androgen receptor modulators, or SARMs.
We touched on these briefly earlier. Can you remind us what they are and why they're so promising?
Sure. SARMs are compounds that selectively target androgen receptors in specific tissues, such as muscle and bone, without affecting other tissues like the prostate.
This is a big deal because it could potentially minimize the side effects associated with traditional testosterone replacement therapy, which can sometimes be a concern.
It's like a more targeted approach, delivering the benefits of testosterone to the tissues that need it most without those unwanted effects elsewhere.
Exactly. Researchers are hopeful that SARMs could offer a safer and more effective alternative to traditional TRT, particularly for men who are concerned about those potential side effects.
That sounds incredibly promising. What else is in the pipeline?
Another area that's generating a lot of excitement is gene therapy, while still in its early stages. Gene therapy has the potential to permanently correct low testosterone by modifying genetic pathways.
Wow. That's truly revolutionary. It sounds like science fiction becoming reality, but how does it actually work? Are we talking about literally changing someone's DNA?
It's not quite that simple, but you're on the right track. Gene therapy for low testosterone would involve introducing a functional gene into the body.
That could then take over the role of the malfunctioning gene that's causing the low testosterone production.
Right.
It's like replacing a faulty part in a machine with a brand new one.
That's amazing. So instead of just supplementing testosterone, we could potentially address the root cause of the problem at the genetic level.
Exactly. And that could potentially eliminate the need for lifelong hormone replacement therapy. still early days.
Yeah.
But the possibilities are incredibly exciting.
It feels like we're on the cusp of a whole new era of personalized medicine.
You're absolutely right. And with the rise of personalized medicine, we're also seeing advancements in customized hormone formulations.
Oh, wow.
This means tailoring testosterone treatments to the specific hormonal needs of each individual.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all approach,
Right.
it's about creating a bespoke treatment plan based on your unique hormonal profile.
Exactly. The goal is to provide more precise and effective treatment, while minimizing side effects. It's about finding the right dose, the right delivery method, and the right combination of therapies to achieve optimal results for each individual.
It's like having a tailor-made suit for your hormones.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It perfectly captures the essence of personalized medicine, and it's something we're seeing more and more of in the field of testosterone management.
It's incredible to think about how far we've come in understanding and managing testosterone. It's an exciting time to be proactive about men's health.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with the future,
Right.
I want to bring it back to the present moment. What are some key takeaways our listeners can walk away with today?
Okay.
What are the most important things to remember about optimizing testosterone levels?
That's a great question. I think the biggest takeaway is that testosterone management is a journey, not a destination. It's about ongoing awareness, self-care, and working closely with your healthcare provider to find what works best for you. There's no magic bullet. But there are so many tools at your disposal, from lifestyle changes to medical interventions that can help you achieve your health goals.
And it's never too late to start taking charge of your health.
Right.
By making informed choices and adopting healthy habits, you can optimize your testosterone levels and improve your overall well-being.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not just about testosterone.
Right.
It's about feeling your best, having energy, being present in your life, and pursuing your passions with vitality.
Yeah.
Testosterone is just one piece of the puzzle, but it's a piece that can have a profound impact on your overall quality of life.
What a powerful message to end on.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible journey exploring the world of testosterone with you.
The pleasure was all mine. I always enjoy these deep dives.
And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it informative, empowering, and inspiring. Remember, knowledge is power, and by understanding your body and taking proactive steps, you can achieve optimal health and well-being. Until next time, stay curious, stay healthy, and keep those T levels thriving.